Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I am so happy for everybody here today in our lovely session. It is so important for us to be here today because we have our We have a very special set of guests here today from the lovely global services sector of Jamaica, here representing on this Friday afternoon. Now, today's topic at hand is a very important one, and I want to direct everyone's attention to it right now, which is technology independence and just being able to understand that it comes with a very human aspect, and technology and humanity definitely is something that is now becoming hand in hand with a lot of innovative ideas coming out of the sector as well as the world at large. We just celebrated our 60th independence as a country, so it's very important for us to note the technological growth that we have adapted over the last 60 years. And for the next 60 years to come, it is very important for us to see the vision forward for technology, as well as how innovation can be able to push humanity forward. I see somebody in the comments talk metaverse, which is a next big thing that's coming up in the future in the technological world. And it's very important for us as young people and as future leaders and stakeholders and investors and people who are nation builders going forward. It's important for us to be in the know-how about how technology is driving the world forward. Now, without further ado, I would like to just welcome the GSS team for taking the time out to present to us for today. I am going to start things off here with the skills development specialist at GSS, and that would be none other than Julaire Hall. She will then come in to introduce her team members, as well as to also impart some knowledge on the GSS initiative and what the sector does. So I want everybody to know in the chat to give her a warm welcome as she comes on to discuss in today's webinar today. Julaire, I'll send everything all over to you.
Hi, thank you, Shamar. Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are all, well, it's afternoon, actually. I'm not sure why I'm trying to go back. A pleasant good afternoon to all students and colleagues gathered here via this platform. I really do hope you have been enjoying the Summer Bootcamp initiative thus far. The experience and knowledge you gain here will be invaluable at all stages of your career development and progress. As the event flyer would have indicated, we are here to talk about leveraging technology to enhance career planning. And what we want to do today is to introduce you students to a platform, the GSS Career Pathway Framework, that will help you to do that, to enhance your career planning. As Shamar mentioned, we want to impart some information on, the whole importance of planning your career, having a defined career pathway or pathways to achieve or to attain your career goals. So career forms an important part of a person's life. I know for some persons as early as age 17 or even before, you have 5-year-olds and 10-year-olds indicating what it is that they want to be when they grow up, even though most of us, by the time we get to teenage years or older, we realize, that's not really the career that, fits my personality, or, I no longer have an interest in that area. And so what we want to talk about today is career planning. And what that is a deliberate process of knowing who you are, firstly, so that you can be sure of where it is that you want to go or what it is that you want to do at a defined point in your future. And when we talk about career planning, we take 5 steps into consideration. Self-assessment. What do you like? What are your interests? And we also consider you to explore options, not just to say, I want to do this, unless you're very sure, but of course, explore options. Narrow down that list of options to that specific area that you want to focus on, decide on the best option to get there, and then to set that development or your career path to achieve. So today I have with me my team members. I have our program director, Marjorie Straw, who will talk about the platform and why it is that we decided to, develop this technology for you to use. And then we have our communications and talent platform manager, Tini Daly, who will go through the features of the site and to give you a preview. And we have one of our career advisors, Yolande Hilton, who will talk about that support service that we offer on that platform. So as a takeaway from today, I want persons to, be in tune with what it is, what are their interests, to be able to go on that path of identifying what options or what are the choices are there for me to consider, and having evaluate what those choices are to make that plan to pursue that career goal. So I'll now turn over to our program director, Marjorie Straw.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Marjorie Straw. I'm the program director. So pleased to see so many persons on. Let me see a thumbs up for persons who've been enjoying this program, enjoying the Careers Unlocked, feel that it's been really beneficial. Hi, Omar, I'm seeing, and I see some Spanish speakers in there. Wow, thank you. Thank you for that. We do feel it, the warmth. And just remember that the collective team, one-on-one, and the GSS team are trying to give you the best possible experience. Use this time wisely, folks, because this is going to allow you to be positioned. Even if you're not quite ready to go into the industry, what this training is going to do is allow you to have, as we would say, a foot in the door. You're going to find that you're going to be able to respond very well to interviews and handle communications, information around the industry, the global services sector, even better than when you started. So with that said, what is this career pathway framework? Well, apart from the fact that Tanae is going to give you a walkthrough, and listen, I want a commitment as well that you're going to sign up and register on the career pathway framework as of today. It's very easy, right? And I want to see hands of who's going to sign up, because I expect all of you to be on it, right? This is going to help you. This is going to help you over. Thanks, Michaela, for signing up. I appreciate that. This is very important. All right, so why did we come up with a career pathway framework? What was our thinking, and why did we feel, that this would be something to help? I see Chadwick hablando español. Mucho gusto verte hablando español en el chat, Chadwick. Podemos hablar después. So I'm just teasing Chadwick because I'm seeing him in the message, exchanging Spanish with some other friends from Aquila. All right. We understand that you do not understand everything about the global services sector. The global services sector, we say, you probably have read, is comprised of the outsourcing sector broken down into 3 segments. Ashley, vous voulez que je parle français? Pas de problème, je parle français aussi. So I was just teasing Ashley that I speak French too. So no way you can talk in the chat in Spanish or French and I don't see it. All right. GSS is comprised of 3 subsegments: knowledge process outsourcing, business process outsourcing, and information technology outsourcing. Now, I know everybody readily might know something about business process outsourcing. You tend to call it the call center work and so on. Just to let you know that the 3 segments are very, very important to the Jamaican economy, has tons of opportunities for you. And each of the segment represents a tier further up. So there are many opportunities beyond being a call center agent in the business process outsourcing. When you get into knowledge process outsourcing, you're looking at areas that include risk management, accounting services, HR services, what we call shared services, project management services, technical proposal writing, for example, procurement. Those all come under knowledge process, legal process outsourcing, for example. And then under ITO, we think of tech like cloud computing, app development, software development, programming, coding, for example. But why did we come up with this career pathway framework? Because we understood that readily, and the industry supported us, that you need a tool to understand the different job roles instead of thinking that it's just a call center agent, call center industry. So what we did was we spoke to the different firms. Did you know, and I want the one-on-one team to pose this as another question, another time to see who's paying attention, and maybe they can get some points on this. Did you know that of the top 20 global companies operating in the world, that's what global means, so of the top 20 global companies operating in the GSS, specifically under business process outsourcing, that Jamaica currently hosts 6 of those companies? Did you know? Let me see hands of who knew that, right? And so what the GSS team did was that we went to the firms and we asked them, what are the job roles under each of these categories? On the CPF, yes, Michaela, that is very true. Where, as you know, we're a nation, little, but we Talawa, right? And so what we did was we went to each firm and asked them under the headings, business process outsourcing, knowledge process outsourcing, information technology outsourcing, and digital media services, which is really a subset of ITO, what are the job roles that are relevant now? Where are you seeing that you want skills in, and can we list them? And that's what we did on the career pathway framework. When you see the demonstration, you're going to see that the different job roles. We went one step further. We asked them, give us a sense of the salary range, because persons in trying to understand job roles want to have a sense of 2 additional elements. They want to understand, what can I get, what can I earn if I were to work in this role, if I were to apply for a position in this area. So we give a sense of the market rates. Also, what kind of skills do I need? Do I have to get a 4-year degree? Or are there other ways that I can get my certification and still apply for such a role? And all of that is outlined on the career pathway framework. And then the other element that we introduced was, we know that after you do your assessment and even after you navigate these different job roles, you may have questions. And so again, speaking back with the firms, we agreed that it was important to give you access to career advisors, access to persons who understand the industry and who can guide you. So you could send inquiries through the CPF, through the career pathway framework, and ask a question. I am here, or I have this qualification, or I'm interested in this role, and how do you see me, what steps do I need to take to get into that role? So that's really my overview before, I turn over to Tanae to say that this is a program that's committed to helping you. Right, I'm not seeing hands yet of those who will register on the CPF, on the career pathway framework, before the day ends. I need to see that commitment from you. Thank you, Casey. But also, right, to understand that you can learn, and it's okay if you change your career. So I saw earlier in the chat, thanks, Alisa Ray, that you started out, you wanted to be, I think, an accountant, then you changed your mind to be an actuary. I think I saw somebody post that. The point is, as long as it's a job role that fits in the global services sector under any of the 4 career pathways, BPO, ITO, KPO, and digital media services, then you can get significant guidance in terms of how to approach that so that you are ready for your interview and ready to take on that role. All right, so it's just such a pleasure to see you guys, to be here with you today, this morning. The GSS has continued to follow us on our social media, because there are tons and tons of information that you can learn about the project, and more importantly, the opportunities in the project. So with that, Jalaire, I turn back to you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you for that. I'm going to turn over to Tanae to walk through the site.
Okay, thanks, Julaire. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Friday. I hope that you have been enjoying the bootcamp session so far. I am Tene Daly, the Communications and Talent Platform Manager for the project, and I will be doing a presentation on the GSS CPF. I'll be doing a walkthrough of the platform as well. I saw in the chat that a few of you indicated that you have already signed up on the platform, which is great. So we just want to encourage you to pass the word along, tell your friends so that they can get registered too. And of course, to all of the other persons who are participating in this webinar, that you will register on the CPF as well. And after this, I'll be putting the link to the site in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as I share a brief presentation with you. First, I'll share just a few slides. And you can let me know when you are seeing the screen.
Merci.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the GSS Career Pathway Framework, which can be found online, mygsscareerpathway.gov.jm. So just a brief introduction. The GSS CPF is an online career planning tool that highlights sector information, career pathways, skills profiles, which of course highlight the range of job roles in the global services sector, known as the GSS. And with over 160 job roles listed on the site, it provides access to information on opportunities in the GSS segments, namely business process outsourcing, which is BPO, knowledge process outsourcing, KPO, information technology outsourcing, ITO, and digital media services. So in terms of the site features, I know Marjorie mentioned them. I'll just quickly highlight these. We have 4 pathways with over 160 job roles, as I mentioned, in the subsegments of the GSS. We have detailed job roles, salary scales, skills requirements, training options as a guide for each role. We also have the RISEX self-assessment tool that, of course, will help you determine your best career path. And we do have a career advisory portal with access to trained career advisors for that one-on-one contact and guidance. So for the RISEC assessment, RISEC stands for realistic, which has to do with the doers. You have the investigative thinkers. The A is artistic, which looks at the creators. Social, the helpers. The enterprising, who are the persuaders. And conventional, who are the organizers. So just some brief information about the RISEC model. So this is based on the belief that there are actually 6 unique personality types, and that's determined by your interests and how you approach life situations. So the RISEC assessment on the CPF platform takes 5 minutes or less to complete, and it actually reveals a unique code, which is written in the order of your interest and your personality type. So it's actually unique to you. After completing the assessment, you'll then see a list of the job pathways that are best suited for you based on your responses, taking into account your personality and interests. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and show you a sample of what your RISEC results could look like, a tutorial video of the site, and do the site walkthrough. So here we have a sample of the RISEC results. So when you get onto the CPF and you complete your RISEC assessment, this is what you will see after. So you'll get a get to download this with your results, and you'll see there is the unique code here that is dependent on how you responded to the questions. So in this sample, we'll see that the person actually has AEC as their RISEC code, which means that they're artistic, enterprising, and conventional. They fall under those categories. Of course, the job roles that are suggested are dependent on the code that you get. So in this instance, we have a list of job roles here, primarily because the artistic is the first in the code. So you'll find that primarily the job suggestions or the job roles that are suggested have to do with that. So here we have at the senior level, a creative director. So in terms of an ad agency, being able to monitor campaigns, if that's your kind of thing, you can look at becoming a creative director. Game production is also a suggested role here. So here we have an example of a producer, assistant producer, also a producer of games, a trainee designer, a junior designer, senior level designer, and lead level designer. So it does show you job roles at different levels, different tiers as you build your career pathway. So that's just an example of what you will see when you complete that RISEC assessment. But at this time, I'm going to share a tutorial that will show you how to navigate the site before I head on over to give you the walkthrough.
Be a part of Jamaica's robust global services sector. Get real opportunities now and for the future. Welcome to the Global Services Sector GSS Career Pathway Framework CPF website, where we provide not only prime access to exclusive sector information, but invaluable career opportunities as well. Gaining access and reaping the benefits of the GSS CPF website is easy. Get started by selecting the Sign In/Register option on the home page and carefully complete your GSS profile. Complete the RISEC self-assessment test to determine the career path that best suits you based on your personal interests and attributes. After final submission, your test results will allow us to present you with a range of roles to select from and see their detailed job descriptions, skills requirements, training options, a career ladder, salary offers, and benefits. After successfully registering and completing the self-assessment test, you may begin exploring your career possibilities from the Pathways page. 4 career pathways are offered by the GSS. Learn more about each one and confidently identify your career choice. Explore digital media and game development. Choose from job roles within game production, visual graphics, game design, quality assurance, and more. Information technology outsourcing, comprised of 7 job groups: cybersecurity, data analytics and AI, enterprise architecture and network infrastructure, operations and support, sales and marketing, software and applications development, and strategy and governance. Business process outsourcing offers roles in areas such as customer services, operations support, training, learning and development, business process transformation, and more. And knowledge process outsourcing. Take a look at jobs in the areas of intellectual property, financial services, digital and data analytics, training and adult education, just to name a few. Click on the job roles in your desired pathway to view a detailed description, salary scales, required skills, and training options. Interested in what you see? Request career guidance at the bottom of the page to schedule a session with a career advisor. Enter the required information and don't forget to upload your resume or CV and submit your ticket. The GSS Career Pathway Framework is open to every and anyone. So whether you're a student, current employee, a job seeker, or switching career paths, you can get the help you need to succeed in the sector. Sign up today. Your GSS Career Pathway is just one click away.
Okay, so I'm going to head over to the CPF site. And can someone just quickly confirm that you're seeing the screen?
I'm seeing.
I'm seeing.
Okay, great, thanks. So here we have the GSS CPF, and once you enter the URL, you'll be, of course, taken to our homepage. So we have several tabs here. We have the pathways, we have the plan your training, news and events, about us, the contact us, and career resources page. So of course, you'll get a brief description of the CPF and what you can expect to find on the site. And I'll draw your attention to the self-assessment button right here, and you'll find in navigating the site that there are several buttons on different pages that will direct you to this page. So the self-assessment, of course, is where you will go to take the RISEC assessment. And just a note that you do have to be registered on the site to be able to complete this, and as well as to see the detailed job descriptions for the job roles. And here we have the tutorial video that was just shown. So in the event that you'd like to see it at your own pace, you can look at it here. It's also on our YouTube channel, Global Services Sector Jamaica. So you have that resource available to you. We also have an introductory video on the CPF and an introduction to the RISEC model. So just so that you can get a better understanding of how it works for you. So if we go to the Plan Your Training page, this is where we will again see the option to be able to take this RISEC self-assessment. And important to note, this is where you can click to get career guidance. So clicking on this button, you'll be able to get access to the career advisory portal. So here you actually have the option to schedule a session with a career advisor. So you would, of course, put in your details, put in your name, your email address. You can select the category of what you would like to get guidance on. If you want information on training options, a job role, the salary, or another, or you have the ability to set other if it's something different. You can also add your CV or resume here. So if it's a case where you'd like one of our advisors to give you some assistance where your resume is concerned, if you want some tips on how to improve, you can upload that and they'll be able to look at it for you. And of course, you just put in a description here about what it is that you'd like advice on. And once you submit this, that is opening a ticket on the career advisory portal. Once you've done that, you will be assigned to a career advisor within 24 hours. The career advisor will then reach out to you and then you'll be able to get that one-on-one guidance. And I know that one of our advisors, Yolande Hilton, is on, so I will allow her to speak a bit more on that just after this. So in terms of the pathways that are available, of course, as we've said, we have digital media and game development, we have ITO, we have BPO, and we have KPO. I'm going to just go ahead and show an example. I know it was visible in the tutorial video that you just saw, but I'm going to go ahead and show you an example so that you can see in more detail what the page looks like as it relates to the detailed job description, the salary scale, and so on. So here we have the subgroups: game production, visual graphics, game technical development, game design, quality assurance, and media business management. Now I'm going to select visual graphics as this example, which will open up a page where you'll be able to see the career progression from an entry-level role in each subgroup to a senior level role. So for example, if we're looking at animation, can move from a trainee animator to a 3D animator to a lead animator and then to a creative director. So this is what we mean about mapping your career path. So you'll be able to plan and use the CPF as a planning tool for your career in whatever pathway that you choose. So looking at animation, it opens up the different job roles that are available. So if we were to look at 3D animator, here is where you'll see the description of the job. And as Marjorie mentioned earlier when she spoke, we have salary estimates here based on market trends. We also have foundational skills and the level that are required for the particular job role. So that's something that is definitely useful that will help you in planning your career. We also have primary role functions here on the page. So you'll get a better understanding of what you'll be expected to do on a day-to-day basis for that particular role. We have the key skill attributes, so the necessary skills for that particular role. And of course, we have training options, which is very useful if there is a particular job you'd want to pursue or a career path you'd want to pursue, but you're not quite sure where you could go to get the necessary training. We do have that here available for all of the job roles that are on the site. So of course, we have some institutions here, as well as the program name and as well as the delivery method. Finally, we have the career ladder, which basically shows you the progression from entry level to senior level. And of course, at the end of each job role page, you can have the direct link to request career guidance. I'm going to go ahead and show an example in ITO. So opening that page, of course, we get our subgroups here. I'm going to use cybersecurity as an example this time for ITO. So if we click on the security design and engineering subgroup, we have a list of job roles here: Chief Information Security Officer, Senior Security Engineer, Security Architect, Associate Security Analyst, and a trainee. So clicking on this as an example, the Security Architect, of course, we have our job description, and again, the foundational skills and the salary estimates. And going down, of course, you will have the key skill attributes, the primary role functions, the training options, and just a note as well, we do have local and international institutions on the CPF platform. So it's not limited to local training options. So we do cater to both. Now I'll show you a quick example in BPO and then KPO. So I know that a lot of you, when you hear BPO, the first thing that comes to your mind is a call center. So here's a prime example of the reality that there is much more to the BPO segment than call centers, call center jobs. So of course, we do have customer services, but we also have subgroups like operation support and business process transformation. So using operations support as an example, we have services management, reactive services, proactive services. So once you click on that, you'll be able to see the job roles that are available in this segment. For example, you could have a career in the BPO subsegment as a operations manager. So of course, you'll get to see the description here so you know exactly what it is you would be expected to do. And of course, your salary estimates. And finally, looking at an example from the KPO segment. So we have subgroups like intellectual property, digital and data analytics, financial services, training and adult education, design, and shared services. So let's look at data analytics as an example this time. So some job roles in this segment, you have data analyst, you could be a data scientist, and of course, as you move up the ladder, become the head of data analytics or a data engineer. So you'll be able to explore on your own based on your interests, and of course, with the RISEC assessment as a guide for what pathways would best suit you based on your personality and your interests. So as you can see, there are a wide variety of roles that are available in the GSS, not just call centers, not just customer service jobs. There are so many opportunities for you to explore, and you could go ahead and do this on your own time. So if it is that you are interested in the data analytics, if you're interested in financial services, you may be good in accounting. And I know that's one of the specialized tracks that are available in this boot camp. If you are more tech savvy and you want to be focused on IT, there you have that option as well. So the CPF really is meant to be used as a career planning tool for you to map your career path in the GSS. At this time, I see there's a hand. So I'll take that question.
No, so I have a lot of questions actually, but I am within a QA session, so just go through because I don't want to disrupt the session.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So that is a walkthrough of the CPF site in terms of the RISEC assessment, the pathways, and the job roles that are available. I'm just going to quickly turn your attention to our news and events page, which shows you the latest happening with the GSS project in terms of our initiatives or events. So we do have the GSS Jamaica Industry Hour podcast. Those episodes are available on YouTube in addition to our podcast platform. I just want to specifically call your attention to episode 3 and 4 of the podcast. I find that particularly may be useful to you as students or persons who are fresh out of high school, maybe entering university. Episode 3 dealt with the topic, Am I Ready for the World of Work? Tips and Tricks for Success. Episode 4 focused on the role of soft skills. So you can take a look at these episodes on our YouTube channel, Global Services Sector Jamaica. You may find some information that may be particularly useful to you as a student. We looked at things such as tips for creating a resume, interview tips, how to stand out as a candidate. And of course, as may be the case with a lot of you here, if you are fresh out of school, you may not have a lot of experience just yet. So we did share a few tips and tricks for how to tackle that particular issue. So I find that that may be particularly useful to you, so you can have a look at that. Also, we have a career resources page. Right now, we have up a blog on how to create a winning resume. So again, at the project, we've been trying to create resources that will be useful to you, practical information, practical tips for you to use as a guide as you navigate the world of work, look at entering the job industry, and of course, how to stand out in the world of work. So at this time, I am going to turn over to our career advisor, Yolande Hilton, who will speak some more about the career advisory portal. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So Tene just went through the career pathway framework. So I'm happy to go through with you what I do as a career advisor. Now, many of you may be interested in career development, but you are unsure exactly where to start. Each person may not have a mentor or a general assistant to guide them through the career planning process. And this is where the career advisor comes in. As you saw, the CPS is useful. It's equipped with numerous job profiles and pathways. And in looking at the chat, it is evident that questions are still there around the results that you are getting from the test, for instance. And so career advisors support you with assistance on various things, whether it's information about roles in the GSS, feedback on resumes, steps to making a career change. And so what we do as an advisor is to review those RIASEC scores to help you to identify the pathway of interest. So as mentioned before, RIASEC stands for realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. And the idea behind it is that you can be categorized based on your personality type. And so in starting there with your personality and what you like, it will help us to identify what possible roles you'd be interested in taking on. And so we support you, as I mentioned before, editing those resumes, questions around making a career change, and information about roles. So based on the interactions with users on the site, when gaps are identified, information is provided to help, whether it's webinars or workshops to provide further assistance. Now, in the chat, I noticed questions about one-on-one information, and this is where the career advisory portal helps. What we do is to provide one-on-one interaction at the first stage to identify your needs and address any concerns or queries. So based on the question that you would have put into the portal, it creates a ticket, and that ticket is sent to one of the career advisors. Now, what comes up is one, that RIASEC score, and where possible, we ask for you to provide your resume. Some persons may be a little concerned that you are not quite ready with that resume because you're a high school student, but do not be daunted, because some of the information that you may dismiss is actually important. So for example, are you in an extracurricular activity? Are you in ISCF? Did you participate in Key Club? If you participated in any of those activities, what role did you have? Were you the vice president? Were you organizing the social? And so those little details that we may dismiss are actually very important, and so the little things can become the big things. So don't worry about not having the formal career experience, but how can things be highlighted based on what you do have. So again, the process is for you to create that ticket. It will come to an advisor. We'll provide you with preliminary information, and based on the details of the need, we can arrange to have a virtual call, whether just face to face, or you can turn on the camera on or off. That is really up to you. And that allows us to have that distinct discussion to assist with your specific needs. And so with that being said, I turn back over to the moderator to facilitate the question and answer section.
All right, so back to Jalera then, is it? Are you finished presenting, Yolanda?
Yes, I'm finished
All right,
presenting.
so back to Jalera. Thank you, Yolanda.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Yolanda. Thank you, Tani. Shamar, will you assist me with the questions here?
Thank you so very much, GSS team. My name is Danielle, and I'll be more than happy to facilitate the questions for this section. I am the customer engagement lead. So we'll start off with the two raised hands that we have here. Chantrell, you can go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon. I have around 3 questions. So my first question is, when you were writing your resume, how did you go about it? Like, did you ask persons around you? Did you ask persons that were in the industry? My second question is that when you started the GSS program, what year did it start and why did you really want to start? I know you gave background information, but was there any significant inspiration that happened while you decided to go into this area? And also, for the Rise Egg programming, is it only for sectors under the BPO, digital media, IPO, and KPO for the jobs offered?
All right, so Jalera, you're gonna facilitate this, but I think Yolanda could give some tips on the CV writing, or and then I will answer the question on the GSS and so on, but we need to move these questions along.
Sure, so I can start in terms of the resume writing. So I remember even being a high school student and thinking about what to put on that resume, and it may be challenging because you are just starting. So where I would suggest that you start is, of course, thinking about what career roles you are interested in. So one tip could be, for example, going to CaribbeanJobs.com and typing in customer service for argument's sake and looking at what that job description says, because how you are crafting your resume depends on the job that you are applying for. You also want to think about the skills that you have. So for example, I mentioned your participation in activities. What type of responsibilities did you have in high school? So for example, were you a prefect? Being a prefect showcases that you have leadership skills. Were you involved in activities? So I mentioned Key Club. Did you plan service activities? That can demonstrate that you have skills when it comes to organizing. It also demonstrates that you are interested in volunteerism. And so a big part of it is to pause, think about your skills, your areas of interest, and then start to craft that resume. As Tani mentioned, there is a section on the portal where there's an article about creating that winning resume. So you can start there, of course, submit what you have, and from there, the career advisor can give you guidance in how to hone that resume. So for example, if it is that you got a D or an E in a subject, is that something that you would necessarily want to highlight? And if so, how is it that you highlight it? If you are in university, what type of courses did you do? So there are a lot of things that can be unpacked. It's just to start, and that creating that building and winning resume article is a good start, and then we can take it from there. So over
Thank
to
you.
you.
Julia, I'll just jump right in because I know time is of the essence. So let me just address, Chantrell, your other question. What was the rationale behind the GSS project? Why did we start this project? The reasons behind the project were as follows. The first one was recognizing that this is a project, this is a sector, the global services sector operates on a global scale. Whether we have local investors or foreign investors, all of them interact with global customers. And there was a recognition that what we call the talent pipeline, the skills required for the sector were just not there or were insufficient. Currently, that sector employs 56,000 persons and will probably grow to 70,000 persons by 2024. What that means is that there's a constant need for certain skill sets. So the project was designed in such a way to support persons like yourselves, high school students, everyone across the pipeline. So high school, tertiary, entry level, anyone who wishes to work or aspires to work in the GSS would have a deeper appreciation, a deeper understanding of what is required. And right throughout our various presentations, you have noticed we said it's not just call center, because the other reason for forming this project and designing this project was to position Jamaica. So I don't know how many of you know that Jamaica is considered one of the best nearshore, what we call nearshore destinations in the region and the hemisphere. Jamaica has won awards. And what we are now signaling to the world is that we're not just known for business process outsourcing, but we're known for other higher value added segments. So we are telling them that we're getting into KPO, knowledge process outsourcing, we're getting into the tech areas, information technology outsourcing, and so on. And this is important because as we try to strengthen our skills going into that pipeline, then to meet these needs, because the other important factor that I think everyone on this call should know is that, and you'll hear if you follow us on social media, that we stress a lot, hashtag lifelong learning, because skills can become obsolete in this industry within a period of 6 to 12 months. That's how dynamic this industry is. And they don't feed off it from what happens here in Jamaica. They feed from what is happening on the world stage, at the global level. What does Microsoft need? How many of you know we have Amazon here? What does Amazon want? How many of you know that we have Vistaprint here for many years ranked the top graphics art industry in the world right here in Jamaica? And every minute, every month, there's a new capability required, a new skill sets required. And this is part of what we're trying to do. Yes, Amazon is in Jamaica, has been, Tony Schaefer, quite a few years now. So, all right, so let me pause there. And no, let me answer the third question. Yes, on the CPF, we only have those 4 pathways: ITO, BPO, KPO, and digital media services. We will update the CPF over time if new pathways are become a requirement, but right now those are the 4 pathways for the career pathway framework. Thank you.
If you would just permit me to just add something quickly. I know Marjorie just mentioned the importance of lifelong learning and building skills. And just to address it, because I see it in the chat, from personal experience, I started off in the financial sector as a teller, and then I moved into working in the call center. And working in the call center, you are developing skills that are applicable irrespective of wherever you want to go with your career. So you're talking about communication skills. You're going to need that. Customer service skills, how to organize, how to plan, operational skills. And from the call center, I moved into supporting management and then into data and metrics and measurement. So the important thing is to start to focus on building what we call transferable skills. So if you learn about customer service, that is transferred irrespective of where you go, whether you want to start your own business or continue in the GSS. operational skills, communication skills are needed irrespective of whichever career you want to get into. So what you need to start to focus on is those key skills that can be transferred irrespective of how you see your career developing in the future. So you can go ahead, Julia.
Thanks, Yolande, for that. I just wanted to add it. I think she had also asked about the RISIC assessment. That tool is actually a renowned tool that is used for irrespective of the profession. So what it does is test your interest, your personality. So it can be used for any assessment, really. And I think I saw a question in the chat asking about careers not in the GSS. But funny, the GSS is so diverse that it includes all segments. There's insurance, there is, science, medicine. You have nurses that actually provide services in the industry. So I would implore that you actually go on the site. There are 160 jobs and I mean, there are new and emerging careers every day. So I would, advise that you take a look at the job profiles that we have on the platform.
Thank you so much for that. Next question will be coming from Antoine Campbell, and after Antoine, we'll have Kay Salim.
Right, good afternoon, everyone. All right, so first I have 3 questions, right? But first I want to big up JSSS. I want to say thank you for your contribution towards Jamaica, to continue to build our younger generation. We do appreciate it. But I'm 20 years of age. I'm currently attending Excelsior Community College. I've seen, well, in the KPO, KOP, knowledge, right, KPO, all right. I've seen, I'm interested in that, but I have some questions as it relates to funding. Funding would be out because I'm assuming that it's free of cost. But the other question would be accredited by who? Who is it? Who is accrediting these skills training, or who is accrediting these things that we will gather as it relates to? You mentioned something about graphic design and so forth, where you go and learn, wherever you go and learn, whether online based or face to face, who is it accredited by? Another question is, after you apply for, let's say, graphic design, where do you go to actually complete the course or complete the session or complete the qualification? Finally, the last question is, where can I go to get a job with the qualification I received from JSSS? And the very last thing, I'm at work, I want to say is I will be so very, very interested in joining the team to kind of have an entire overview as to what you guys are about, what you guys your objectives, and how can I contribute towards nation building, because young people are the generation, including myself, and I think this should go and reach a lot of young people ears. So yes, those are my questions. Thank you.
Jalera, you wanna take them, and I'll help you. And
no problem. Sorry, I didn't get your name, but I just want to clarify firstly that the career pathway framework is pretty much a repository of information. So what it is a website that provides information on various things, as Tine would have mentioned. So different job description, as you know it, what are the requirements, what are the skills requirements, training required. So I think when you visit the profile, you would see if you need a bachelor's of science in management studies, there might also be a list of universities. So it would have University of the West Indies or University of Technology, which you can now go onto that site to see what training opportunities are available to do that training. But the site itself, it's not a site for you to apply for training or to get any sort of funding to be trained. It's an information portal, really. And thirdly, one of the things that we're working on, which is not yet available, is a talent platform. And I think Yolande, I'm not sure if she mentioned it, one of the things that we find is that a lot of persons, when they visit the site, they're asking about job opportunities. And we do know if we provide you with information on the different jobs that are available, you will want to know where can I go to get a job. And so we are working on another platform that will be linked to the Career Pathway, which is a talent platform, which will have that list of repository of jobs that are open in the GSS. Marjorie, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, let me just add a few things as well to the person who just asked those questions. Firstly, guys, what I want everyone to take away, whether not only from our discussions with you today, but right throughout, is you have the power to find the training. So not everything can be offered at no cost. The GSS project offers several types of training programs. When you are working in a firm, we have our GSS apprenticeship programs. We have offered internship programs at the tertiary level. Obviously, at your level as well, we're offering training. As Julia mentioned, you'll see some training programs become available when we launch the Talent Hub later this year, or you understand where to look for training. Right now, you have EDX, you have Coursera, you have Allison, you have many, many websites out there that offer you training at no cost. You might have to spend, Rhode Island, EDX, you might have to spend a small amount to get the certification, right? And when I say a small amount, I've seen that one to get certificates as low as $25 US. The point that I'm saying, guys, is part of what this program is about is how do you empower yourself to be considered for jobs? Let's talk real for a second, everyone. Jobs are not waiting out there, regardless of your level. Jobs are not waiting for me, not for Yolande, not for Julaire, not for you. You have to position yourselves to get the job. So how you do that is you make sure you have your subjects. If it's a GSS, 3 to 5 subjects, 5 subjects, Julaire, I think it is 5 subjects, right? You need to show that you have an attitude and an aptitude to work in the industry. You need to, as Yolande says, you work on your CV. You don't wait, you start working on that, refining on that. What course can I take? So I have this summer, do I go on an EDX and sign up for a free course on general customer service because it's offered free, so I can put that on my resume? You take charge. You're the ones in control, guys. And it's so important, regardless of what we discussed today, that you leave understanding that nobody, and I mean this, nobody is handing you anything on a platter. That's not the environment we're living in now. The environment we're living in now, and it's a global environment, not a Jamaican environment, is that you have to position yourself. You have to demonstrate that you have the initiative to teach yourself, to learn, to look for where the opportunities are. You have to be able to deal with failure. You go into an interview, you didn't get it, but you learn from that interview so you know what to do better next, all right? That's very important. And so whilst we're working on several programs to allow you those opportunities, do understand that you have the power now to take advantage of those opportunities. They're out there. If I hang up from this call and I go on Google, EDX, Coursera, I can find courses that I can do right now that will help me to be better positioned for what I'm seeking. Thank you. Next questions? Kaysa Lee, I think you had your hand up. You were next.
Yes, good afternoon. My question is, what if your career choice is not linked to GSS? Can I still have a meeting with the career advisor on that?
Well, I would say that, certainly, as you can see, everything is structured for the GSS. So do know that when you do your RISEC, which is part of what will inform the career advisor how to respond to you, that she's looking at it in the context of the GSS, and that she really can't advise you on other careers outside of the GSS. So if you understand that, obviously we're not stopping you from engaging with a career advisor, but do understand that she is working within that kind of constraint.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, Mr. Facilitator?
Yes, we do have some questions from the chat. I'll hand over to Chadwick to facilitate those.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to thank the presenters here from GSS for the wonderful session. And if you give me the chance, I'd just like to share some of the burning questions that were added in the chat beforehand. The first one is from Ashley Allen, and she asks, what would be the most marketable language to learn besides English?
What was the question?
What is the most marketable language could a job hunter learn to help bolster their
English?
skills and the talents?
Well, I would say that you have either Spanish or Mandarin. Spanish, because we, as we would say, we are the backyard to all of Central and Latin America. Spanish is widely spoken in the USA. In fact, most jobs in the USA requires one to at least be proficient in Spanish. And then Mandarin, because of how China is positioned on the global stage, and being able to speak Mandarin if you enter into trade with China, enter into any kind of work-related exchanges with China, that becomes useful. And not only because, I want to just clarify, you don't have to live in China. There are many companies out there that do commerce on a global level and would want someone who could speak Chinese as an asset to their organization.
Excellent advice. I always heard that Mandarin was a bustling language, but I never really considered that Jamaica's positioning to South America makes Spanish so valuable.
Yeah, very valuable, actually.
Our next question from Demonia Chung. I think that's it. If I got your name wrong, Demonia, I apologize. Let's see. Aside from the training, oh, excellent. Aside from the suggested career path, does the GSS training help you in other career fields that aren't necessarily listed?
Claire?
I think, Marjorie, the question that you responded to earlier, in a sense, respond to that. So the platform provides a set of career options that's within the framework of the GSS. And so if you go outside of that, you may not find that information there.
See. Once again from Ashley Allen, how much of the industry's upward mobility is merit-based?
Let's have an understanding from Ashley what she means by merit-based. What's her definition of merit-based?
Ashley, are you here to expound on the question? Ashley?
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello. Good afternoon. Yeah, merit-based as in I do work and I'm rewarded for it. You know, I develop my skills and I show that I am worthy of getting a promotion. Do I get the promotion, or am I going to be passed over by someone who is related to the boss? Something like that.
Julia, answer that for me, and then I will add to it. But those things that's very archaic now, Ashley, just to bring you current. Nobody gets passed over for boss anymore. A lot of it is on performance. But Julia, please go ahead.
Right. So when you talk about the GSS sector, it is very performance-based. As a matter of fact, 90% or more of the time, persons are promoted. They do not hire persons from outside, unless you're coming from another organization with the skill sets and at that level for a senior role. But it's an industry where you have to grow and progress into the different roles. You can't just come in at a certain level because of how it is set up. But everything is performance-based, so you rarely find situations like that within that sector.
Next question.
Thank you.
From Rachel Downey, she asks, does the program only prepare you for digital-only jobs, or are the skills transferable to more in-person careers?
Let me start, Julaire, on that one. Folks, digital skills are here to stay. I don't even know that there is a reference as digital jobs unless you mean tech-related jobs. Regardless of the sector, agriculture even, right across all the sectors you can possibly think of that exist in Jamaica and beyond, digital skills are needed. And I don't just mean being able to go on a computer, okay? Now, within the global services sector, there is a thrust to get skills for the information technology outsourcing. And that comes with a range of skill sets, as you'll see on the career pathway framework, ranging from, you know, a programmer to cybersecurity, to other areas, software development, software programmer, app development, cloud computing, for example. And so when you get into, if you have an interest in the ITO subsegment, then those skills usually require a specialized, pathways or job roles require specific skills that requires some type of certification. And so in that regard, one would need certification, but everybody on this call, whether you're interested in the GSS or any other sector, tourism, banking, you name it, you must have digital skills as part of the skills that you can go into a firm, organization, or sector with. Julia, I don't know if you have anything to add. Thanks.
No, Margaret, I think you said enough. You answered the question.
Next question then.
Just accept it, everyone. The future is now. Eventually, we'll have chips in our brains. Just deal with it. The next question from Ashley Allen once again. How you mentioned before that doing things in school and various projects around the community can help to show your skills when you're lacking qualifications. But how would you prove that to an employer?
Yolanda, you want to expand on that?
Sure. So as mentioned before, it's important not to discount those skills that you'd have acquired through your activities. So for instance, and I'm using Key Club. I used to be a part of Key Club. Key Club is a service organization. And with Key Club, you are linked to Kiwanis. So from Kiwanis, you are able to network with persons who have experiences in varying careers who can help you. Two, if you do have a role in the club, it allows you to also acquire skills. So one of the skills would have been organizing. Do you organize socials? Communication. Do you take part in the sessions? What that does is allow you to develop public speaking skills. And so in everything that you do, you need to be intentional. It's not just to join the club just because, but what are you doing to make a difference, to highlight that you are contributing? There was one point even to apply to university. One of the questions they would ask you about is volunteering. What kind of extracurricular activities that you are involved in? It's not just about the academic part of it, but how do you demonstrate that you are a whole person? When you go into the organization, you have to be a whole person. It's not just the academic aspect of it. What are your interpersonal skills? Do you like working with people? Are you a team player? And so participating in these activities from high school allow you to develop those things that are needed for life. So that is a start. So look at it as building a house. You don't just end up with the big house. You have to start off with the foundation, and high school is that foundation, even though you may take it, you might take it for granted. Oh, I'm just a high schooler, but this is where you start. Some must, do you even try to get a summer job? And even if it's filing, I'm filing, but what am I learning from the filing? You always pause and ask yourself that question. What is it that I am learning? How can I further develop myself? How can I help? So I like Antoine asked a question earlier and mentioned, he just wants to understand the GSS and help. That is the start. find out how you can help. You'd be surprised at how volunteering, and I know some of you rolling your eyes at me, but don't discount those little things. It's not the big things, it's the little things that you do that really help to distinguish you and make a difference. And Marjorie mentioned it earlier, that attitude. Your attitude is so important. You could have A's, 4.0 GPA, 9 CXCs, but your attitude is poor. No one will want to work with you. You may not find yourself getting ahead and wondering why. It's the little things. That attitude is such a big thing. Are you somebody I would want to work with? Does anybody want to work with you? So I'm just putting that out there to not look on it as this one aspect, but developing your whole self.
Thank you, Yolanda. Next question, please.
Excellent advice. Next from Demona Chung once more. Aside from the job readiness training the program provides, is there any additional courses or assistance to help ensure success in that field? Or is it up to the candidate after job readiness is achieved?
Well, Demonia, I would say follow the GSS carefully, closely on social media. We are constantly rolling out opportunities. We intend to roll out a talent hub later this year that will offer you training opportunities. But as I mentioned, right, you do not have to wait on even the GSS project. You just need to go and look at the roles that you're interested in. You can research those roles online, and you can easily go. You can go on YouTube and have tutorials done where you can have a presenter. You can go on EDX, Coursera, and other training, online training providers, and even get a certificate in that. So yes, the GSS is going to offer additional training where we can, hopefully to present at the before the end of the year, but please do not wait on the GSS.
Remember, everyone, when you have the sun, you should make hay. Next, our final question from Mr. Roger England. Is the training from the program specifically geared toward job readiness only, or is it able to help someone who is interested in doing the subject in CSEC or CAPE?
Larry, you want to tackle that one?
Just for clarity, are we referring to the summer school program? The training from the summer school program?
Was that the reference?
Mr. England? Are you here, Mr. England, to clarify? Hello? It doesn't seem like Mr. England is still on the call, so I'm not able to say which he meant. I suppose that would bring us to the end of the recorded questions, but
someone else, sorry to interrupt you, Chadwick, but someone else had a question about saying that a recruiter from a company told them that they should leave off the clubs and activities off of the resume because they don't really look at that in the job work area. And they're asking if that is true.
Well, I would add that that is not necessarily true. It depends on where you are in your career. So as you develop your career, there are things that you may start to remove from your resume. So for example, you are just starting out. So your experience is tied to what was learned in high school. So you may have to lean on that as opposed to someone else who would have been in university and perhaps gained career experience, or if you had a summer internship experience. If you don't have that, the only thing that would be on your resume is what CXC subjects you have. And so your volunteer and your extracurricular activity experience help to demonstrate what kind of skills you can add to that organization, what type of value you can add. Say, for example, when I speak about career development, when you're finished with university, it's obvious that you would have done your CXCs to get into university to finish. So you might want to take up your CXC results at that point. When you grow in your career and you've had many jobs, you may not want to highlight all of them. So for example, if I'm building a resume, no, I'm not going to start 14 years ago with giving a breakdown of everything that I did as a teller. I will just put that I was a teller at this particular time. I may not even decide to include it. And so depending on where you are in your career, then that specific advice makes a difference. So just to be mindful, I know there's a lot of do this and don't do that, but in your case, as persons who are just starting, it is key to highlight what value you add, and those activities become critical in that in this sphere.
And let me just add as well, because an important word that everyone needs to, you know, I find high schoolers tend not to appreciate this word. What value? What is the value you're bringing to an organization? So, you know, and this is why you have to continue to do your own research on how to build your CV, or look at our CV clinics, or where we have tips on CV writing, because you can be, for example, you know, in Kiwanis, but if you just simply say, I'm a member of the Kiwanis Club, or I'm a member of, you know, some club at school, is very different from someone else who's in that same club. Let's use the Kiwanis example, and said, I was an organizer of all public events for the Kiwanis Club, where I single-handedly worked with the head of Kiwanis to organize volunteer activities for so-and-so. You see how that sounds different? Right away, as an employer, I'm going to be thinking, okay, this person may have some skills that we could use, different from just saying member of the Kiwanis Club from this month to this month, or this year to this year. Okay, guys? So framing for value, very important as well.
Can I add to that a bit of my own personal experience? I once was given a bit of advice when I just entered the working world. And the bit of advice was, your resume is not a rap sheet of everything you've ever done. It's a presentation and what makes you perfect for the role you're applying for. And so every time you update your skill set, or you go a little further, you should take some time to rewrite it to represent the new you. Is there anyone else in the chat that
That's
has
such
some?
a good point. And whilst let me just add something else there that's occurring to me. Many of you, sometimes you write your resumes, you put it down for your job interview. When it's time for the job interview, you send in the resume. You don't review the resume to see if everything you have on it relates to the role or the job you're applying for, right? I see that right through. It's not even unique to high schoolers. I've seen it even from resumes I've gotten from adults. So you're not sure that everything you're articulating, that you're writing on your resume, actually reflects the requirements that the job is asking for. The other thing that many of you don't do well enough is you don't practice for your interview. Do you know that when we do presentations, and I'm sure I speak for everybody from the GSS team, when we're on big stages in front of audiences and so on, and we're doing PowerPoint presentations or public speaking events that we practice, yes, you should see me the night before, guys. I am talking aloud, pointing and articulating and practicing. So it's the same exercise you have to do with your resumes. You call a family member, don't care, a friend, you stay on the phone. I know on a FaceTime all the time, so you can make the time. And I call up Yolande and I say, Yolande, interview is tomorrow, 2 days from now. I need to be ready. Here, I send you my resume. Let's practice some questions. And Yolande comes up with some questions and she asks you, and you actually answer them formally like you're in an interview. You'd be surprised how that helps you. And you don't play around with it. You answer formally, she probes and so on. That is how you get ready as well, folks, for an interview, all right? You don't just wait till you go in and you start to answer on the fly. By the time you practice a few times, you'll be less nervous in the interview, and you will likely know, okay, let me frame it this way or that way, but you'll know how to respond to the question. Thank you, everyone.
At this point, we're nearing the end of the webinar, but I'd like to open the floor to about 3 more attendants. If you have a question, kindly raise your hand. I I see it seems that all the questions for today have been answered, and so now I'd like to turn over to Shamar for the closing remarks.
I'm sorry, before we do that, we do have some digital gift cards giveaway. So we have 4 questions that we're gonna ask, and the first person to enter the correct response in the chat, working with you, Chadwick or Shamar, you can send us the email for the winners, and we will send the digital gift card. So I'll just go ahead and state the 4 questions.
Could I just add one thing? Could I just add one
Sorry?
thing? Could I just add one thing?
Sure, go ahead.
Type your responses properly. Being first and being wrong does not count. So don't just shotgun it.
Okay, no problem.
So first correct response. Okay, go ahead, Jillaire.
All right, so question number 1. What is the domain for the GSS Career Pathway platform? So question number 1, what is the domain for the GSS Career Pathway platform?
Chat and move active.
Tony Shea said her memory is short. Wow.
You can do it.
All right, so question number 2. What element of the CPF platform enables self-assessment? So we talk about the 5 stages of career planning, and we talk about a tool that helps with the self-assessment process. Number 3, how many job profiles are listed on the CPF website? And I said job profiles.
Job profiles, not pathways, profiles.
Not seeing the correct answer.
I see maybe
okay, number 4, and this is a 2-part question.
Moving so fast.
No, because I see the answer, so then I go ahead. So the last question is a 2-part question. How many career segments are available on the site, and name 2 of those segments? So the number of segments and identify 2. And those are the 4 questions. So Chadwick, I rely on you to provide us with the information for the 4 winners. And that's it from us. Thank you.
Shamar, if you'd like to take over now.
Thank you so much. I have my 4 here. The team can definitely confirm on my end on what I have, and then we can come here, and then we can just let the GSS team know who was winning, so we can get those gift cards lined up for you. So thank you so much for that lovely surprise, Jillaire. We're all about fun giveaways and surprises here. So I'm very glad for that opportunity. But I personally want to just extend a huge thanks to all of the ladies here on the GSS team. Personally, I am an advocate for women in business. So I am very glad to see everybody here and representing for that initiative, which is very important. So I know that we have a lot of people here who are looking to you guys as inspiration to somehow be a part of their particular careers and to be driving forces, as well as being people who are influential in what they do. So thank you again so much for coming on and for sharing the knowledge of what the GSS sector does, as well as what it entails on the platform. I'm hoping that everyone was able to follow. And once this meeting ends, that we have a lot of new registrants on that platform. So I just want to close off today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Marjorie, Yolanda, Jillaire, thank you so much for being here. And I know Tenny is here, as well as the other members of the GSS team in the audience with us. So thank you guys so much once again for your contributions. Definitely, if you all are free in the future, we'd love to have you here again to interact with our lovely students and our users. So thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day into the weekend and have a productive rest of your day.
All right, thank you everyone. It was a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you.